Welcome to July, everyone. It's July 1st, Wednesday. My name's Kelly Baltzell, and I'm the CEO and owner of Beyond Indigo Pets. We have Dr. Jess Trimble here because it's Wednesday and it's TeleHealth Day, and she has the latest news. So what do you have for us, Jess? Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I always get a little bit surprised, I think, every week when you say the date, because I don't think I actually realize how much time has passed. I can't believe it's July.
I know, right?
So the exciting thing in the news this week is hopefully something that's going to help just a ton of veterinarians. The Veterinary Virtual Care Summit has been scheduled for August 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern. So they are doing this completely free, 100% free. And it's meant to be sort of a workshop experience. I believe you get about 5.5 hours of continuing education. And it's put on by the Veterinary Virtual Care Association in combination with various sponsors and other folks who are helping to fund this. But they're going to be going through a ton of topics, building ecosystems and workflows, how to use telehealth to enhance your customer experience, how to use it in specific use cases like hospice or end of life or dermatology, how to make the website that you currently have work in a telehealth manner. They're going to have Q&As with Dr. Teller. Lori Teller does, basically, she teaches all the telemedicine at Texas A&M, and even some bits about wearables and remote monitoring, economics, access to care. It's just going to cover a ton of really wonderful topics. I'm really excited for this. So again, it's 100% free. August 18th, I would encourage everyone to sign up. It's going to have just some fantastic people sharing some topics that can really make a big difference, I think, for a lot of small practices, and also sharing these experiences and learnings that we've had over the last however many months it's been since we've started really pushing telehealth and telemedicine due to the pandemic. So sign up for that. Hopefully it will be inspiring and also a great learning event for everyone. But definitely sign up for that. It should be a fantastic experience. We can bump over to the tip. So I talk every week about, I think I mentioned the word like SOPs, standard operating protocols and workflows and efficiency every single week, because that's what I'm super passionate about. But this is one of those little things that will make or break a workflow or a protocol. And that is making sure that the first thing that comes out of every one of your team members' mouths is consistent when it comes to telehealth. And this, applies to your brand as well as to your protocols. If you in a hospital want to be seen by your clients in a certain way, or if you have a specific way that you want your workflow to go, you have to make sure that every single member of your team understands it and embraces it and is a champion for it. Because if your, front desk person doesn't quite believe in it, they're going to mess up every single step after that by not giving that one-liner. So what is your one-liner? And this is a question that I've gotten a lot when I do workshops of, how to practically implement telehealth is, okay, I get that I should be doing telehealth. I get what kind of medicine I can provide, but how do I get my front desk people or my kennel assistants to understand or to reroute things to a telehealth situation? And so this is where your one-liner comes in. So first off, you have to develop that ideal protocol with your team. What is step A, B, C, and D? And then after that, create a one-liner, but involve your whole team in the creation of that. Make sure that they really embrace it so that they are happy to spout that one-liner when it's time. And then when you do have it established, pretend to be automated. Every text message that comes in, every Facebook message, every email, every phone call, respond with the same line. And eventually that consistency will become habit and become totally ingrained in both your staff and your clients. And so, for example, a good one-liner, someone calls and says, Fluffy's vomiting. Thanks for letting us know Fluffy isn't doing well. We're offering telehealth consults for free with a technician to help you know if she needs to come in, or you can schedule a telehealth consultation directly with the doctor for X dollars through our app. And that means you might not even need to come in for a regular visit if our doctor is able to help Fluffy. And so portraying it in a way of not, well, we don't want you to come in, so we're going to boot you to telehealth instead, but rather we're doing this as a favor to you, so you might not have to come in. And so, it's all in how you say it and how you spin it. But I'd really, really recommend that, one, you push people to this telehealth service. Two, you mention briefly what it will cost. And then three, mention how it is going to help them by using it rather than having an appointment or just getting, free quick advice from a technician. So your one-liner takes a lot of thought to craft properly. But once you do have that crafted and you've got your team behind it, you're really going to help your clients understand the why behind the telehealth, as well as your technicians, and then help your frontline customer service people boot those health questions that they don't know how to answer and usually have to, run back and ask a tech or ask a doctor. This will make everything so much more efficient if you can just get that one-liner down. And as far as the automated part go, sometimes it can feel like you're a bit of a robot, but frankly, that has saved my sanity multiple times. I get a text from somebody who says, hey, my dog is limping. What do I do? I will literally text back, sometimes in all caps, this phone number is not monitored regularly. If you have health questions, please go to our app at this site. And then at the bottom, put reply stop to cancel. So it makes them feel like this is a fully automated, they're not going to get an answer from me. They stop text messaging from me from then on, and they go straight to the app because I did not respond to them, and shuttle them to the more appropriate route. So sometimes being a little automated can be helpful because it really does punt people to the place that you want them to go. So long story short, develop out your one-liner, but really do put some thought behind it as far as your sort of brand and marketing messaging in that, because it's super, super important. All right. And so the next thing we've got after tips is you get to listen to me and Kelly talk about all of the things that make us happy.
Going back to your one-liner though, it's almost true with anything because it's like your elevator speech. You have to think and condense what you really believe in into something that's understandable for people for 1 sentence. So then they go, oh, okay. And also right now, also hitting upon the emotional aspects of it to get kind of through, like we're hearing that people are really upset when they're going to veterinary hospitals. Well, maybe your one-liner can really help calm, bring a sense of zen into the moment before we even get to the moment of just being freaked out, stressed out, whatever is causing them to go off the rails, right? Yeah. Like, we're here for you. We're trying to take care of Fluffy. We're trying to make this work for everybody. Yeah. We hear you're stressed, hitting all the points, whatever's happening in your hospital.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I have seen so many messages from veterinary hospitals that unfortunately, verbal abuse or stress from clients is getting worse and worse, which partially I can understand the stress, right, of having to sit in a hot car, but right. And so if we can get that one-liner crafted properly, it can show empathy and sympathy, but as well as sort of a firm stand of this is what we're doing, deal with it.
Yeah.
This is how it's going to go. The end.
If you yell, that's not going to change things except make you feel worse and us feel bad. So, but it's hard. Emotions are hard when you
really are.
React from emotional place and not a logical place. It's a different response and a different message.
Yes, very much.
Right. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. So no, I like it. The one-liner. It's good. So speaking of one-liners and happy and zen spots, it's always our gardens, and mine has become Jurassic Park of Minnesota. Yeah.
I love that though. I would love to have a jungle of a garden.
I know, and it's also the nice thing, speaking about happy spots, is it gives you a moment to step away, right? Like when you get really, really stressful or moments are just tense or your brain is just, it's done. Like you've run into your wall and you just need an adult break for a minute, right?
Yes.
The nice thing about the garden is it's right outside your door. And so there's no driving, there's no walking. Well, okay, you have to walk to your backyard. But I mean, like there's no separation required to get there that takes very long, right?
Yep, absolutely. And it's been good for me to have something to fuss over or worry about other than, regular life things. I can go and look at my tomatoes and go, oh my goodness, there's a little gray spot. And then I spend 20 minutes researching and then end up figuring out levels of phosphorus to be spraying for foliar fertilizing, things that I have never learned before, but it's really helped to inspire my curiosity, I guess. I'm doing a lot more learning than I had been because I'm starting to obsess over them, probably more than I should. But it's just been a super fun hobby. I wish mine could get more jungly, but we have to really keep it. We had to add that hail guard over the top. Our neighbors came by and were horrified that we had this garden without the hail guard because they said that all of the leaves were stripped from their garden in a 45-minute hailstorm last year. And where I live is actually the hail capital of the US. And so we're now in the process of putting hail guards over everything so that we don't lose the garden in a summer storm.
I had zero idea that that was a possibility or that you were the capital of it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Like my garden lets me mentally focus on something else for a while, like a challenge.
Yeah.
And I can perseverate over that without any negative consequences.
Yeah.
Okay, so something may just not produce as well. And it gets my mind off of perseverating at something else work-wise or things like that may not be as productive to do.
Yep.
And I'm like you, I just sit there and go, well, this is interesting. So
it gives you a moment to be present.
Yeah,
right? You can do nothing else but be present right then.
And we don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially with electronics, it's hard. And it's also hard to be present during a Zoom meeting without multitasking.
Yeah.
Like I actually thought about starting to knit while in meetings. Well, why? Well, because it keeps my hands off the keyboards, right? Instead, I went to adult coloring books because that one's even more of a no-brainer than knitting, but it keeps my hands off the keyboards from trying to do mail and not being present and listening, right? Because we're easily distracted, and if you're a A+ personality like myself, and perhaps you, we don't do bored well. So I think we have a picture of my massive uncontrolled zucchini. And they said that it will grow 4 feet in diameter. They were really not underestimating that.
Feet. Jeez.
And I also really heart large hostas. And poor Will's probably looking at the photos going, I have no idea which one's this. Just put anything up, Will. With it.
That's so funny that you knit. I thought I was the only person who needed to keep their hands busy during anything. I knit all the time just because it helps me focus on what's in front of me. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you create something while you're doing it. But again, I think it's a genetic thing too. I just don't sit still well. So knitting gives me something, or adult coloring books give me something to do. It's something to do. So yes, so knitting or coloring books or something with your hands, stepping outside and being present also helps. And just focusing, especially like you were mentioning the conference coming up. We were talking about this. To be successful at virtual conferences, you're going to have to be present, like mentally present. Well, what does that mean? Well, does that mean you set aside time? Yes. Does that mean you don't don't do your email at the same time? Yes. Like you need to figure out, because nobody else can help you. You nobody's a table mate next to you, and you don't have social peer pressure, getting the dirty glares from people because you're doing something that you shouldn't be. You yourself have to be present during these virtual meetings. Otherwise, you won't get it. You won't get what you're supposed to, because our brains sequencing in information, they don't simultaneously process. So as soon as you focus on like your eyes and something somewhere else, that's why knitting, you can just do it without looking.
Yeah.
So that's my massive zucchini. Actually, Will picked right. So that space there in the middle, all of this green is zucchini and squash plants and potatoes and peppers and Brussels sprouts, I think, and an eggplant tucked in there too, and a sunflower's growing. So
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, I go outside and I watch the monarch butterflies because I planted milkweed for the monarchs. I'm trying to find the robin's nest where they hid it. They were fussing at me this morning. They're like, I don't know where the babies are, but I'd like to know. So
fun to have your own little backyard ecosystem.
It is. So it's good. Well, have a good 4th of July.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot we're having a 4th of July Canada Day cookout combination because we've got a bunch of Canadian friends too. So it should be fun.
It'll be fun.
Socially distant cookout.
Why not?
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Bye.